Your name, your address, and your phone number are floating around the internet. Easy for strangers, scammers, and companies you've never heard of to find. Data brokers and shady databases collect and sell your private details to anyone willing to pay, putting you at risk of nonstop spam, scams, and fraud. You can't stop them from collecting data, but you can control who gets to keep it. That's why I use Incogni. They remove your private information from more than 420 of these sites automatically. And with their unlimited plan, you get total coverage. If you spot your personal details anywhere else online, just send them the link, and their privacy experts will get it taken down. It's the easiest, most complete way to protect yourself and personal life. Right now, you can lock in 60% off with my exclusive deal at privacykim.com. Go to privacykim.com right now and start protecting your privacy. This is so important. Privacykim.com. That's privacykim.com.
Welcome to the Kim Komando Show podcast for the weekend of June 10th, 2023. And thank you for being a Komando community member. Let's get started. Here's hour one.
I always like to start with something interesting. And Apple's been promising a lot of things over the years. The Apple Car, nope, we don't have that. Not here yet. Apple's VR headset, well, we got that this past week. And guess what? Everyone loves it. It's just going to change the way that we all work, play, you name it. But there's one person who's not thrilled about it. Can make a guess. Say it out loud. See if you're right. Ready for it? Yes, Mark Zuckerberg. Remember the metaverse? That was Zuck's big dream of massive VR world where you could do anything as long as you didn't need legs. Anyway, Zuck poured $1 billion a month sometimes into it. It went belly up, and it was just dumb. So along comes Apple's Vision Pro. And here's what the sore loser had to say. Our vision for the metaverse is all about people, but Apple, every demo they showed was just some loner sitting on a couch. Ooh, Mark, you need to go home and play the game that you love best. You know what that game is? I Spy. That's right. Hey, listen, you're about to get more tech smarts because every single thing is a tech thing right now. And if you're a new listener, welcome. So glad to have you with us. And if you're already a listener, welcome back. I'm, of course, Kim Komando, America's digital goddess. It's the biggest show out there about all things digital. They're your most trusted source. And you can find my award-winning show on over 420 top stations throughout the United States. And you can find us as a podcast or webcast commercial-free at Komando.com. In the upper right-hand corner there on the homepage, there's a big old yellow button that says Komando Community. And yes, I did say commercial-free. You can get a free 30-day trial over at Komando.com. Just hit that button that says Komando Community. And a big hello and salute goes out to all of our listeners on American Forces Network Radio, reaching over 375,000 U.S. service members, serving in 175 different countries and 200 ships at sea. And I'm sure you have at least a few questions about something digital I can lend a hand to. And our T-Mobile Unlimited listener line at 1-888-825-5254 is open. And right now for all of your great phone calls. But if you're just too shy to come on a big-time show and podcast, I understand. I do. So you can just drop me your questions over on the website. That's Komando.com, of course. And then there's a link that says Email Kim. All right, every single day I drop by just a slew of websites, about 30 different websites, to make sure you're up to date with everything digital. And these are the top 5 things that you need to know about tech right now, starting with number 1. The next presidential election is going to be an AI-fueled nightmare. Now, before we talk about this next story, it doesn't matter what side of the aisle that you're on or who you're supporting. I want you to just put politics aside and don't shoot the messenger. Okay, I'm telling you right now, this is going to be an all-around. I'm telling you right now, this is going to be a major problem with the presidential elections, and it's taking off right now. This past week, the DeSantis War Room account on Twitter shared a video with loads of examples of Trump's support of Anthony Fauci. You know him, the COVID doctor, the former White House chief medical advisor. Well, weaved in with the clips of Trump discussing Fauci are 6 images of the two together. They're of Trump and Fauci cozying up, looking buddy-buddy. Some of them having Trump just laying a big old smooch on Fauci's cheek. Well, here's what you need to know. At first glance, you might just shrug the pics off, but half of those pics are now being identified as AI generated. They're deep fakes. Now, I'm telling you about this because anyone that is campaigning, it's bound to happen to them. So how do you spot the deep fakes? Well, you can try a reverse image search trick and just search the image with Google, just right-click on the pic. What you can also do is look at hands. AI notoriously gets hands wrong. Look at the skin and hair, too. Anything that looks too smooth or too shiny or too blurry, yeah, that should make you think twice. And also, What does your gut say? How does it feel? There's often an unexplainable but odd quality to AI images. And if you need that information, again, we have it all over on the website. Coming in at number 2 of our list of 5 things is the real story on EV mileage. And so if you're shopping for an EV, AAA put out the Ford F-150 Lightning electric pickup truck to a mileage test. And just like gas-powered cars, the EPA rates how far you can go on a single charge. Well, the results are eye-opening. If you load the truck up or pull a trailer, expect the range of the vehicle to be reduced by up to 25%. Yeah. Customers are also reporting similar results for EV cars carrying 4 passengers. So add that to the luggage that you might be putting for a road trip, and the mileage will vary. So, of course, this does nothing to soothe potential customers' so-called range anxiety. That's the fear of being stranded with no charging station in sight and how long it's going to take for a full charge. So nothing against EVs, but you're not going to hear this at the dealership. And if you want, you can always buy a DeLorean. This one you can only drive from time to time. Yeah. All right. Coming in at number 3, listen up. You have kids on the IG. Because you know how Instagram, when you like a photo or a video, it shows you more of the same stuff. Well, the Wall Street Journal, along with folks from Stanford University and the University of Massachusetts Amherst, they have discovered that Instagram's algorithms, the very ones that are recommending those funny memes and stories and dog videos and all that other stuff, are also directing pedophiles, sickos, to people selling child porn on Instagram. And they're not just selling photos, but also videos, even ones featuring self-harm and bestiality. So here's the deal. The researchers set up a test account. They started viewing content from these networks, and then bam, Instagram's algorithm kicked in and started suggesting more accounts peddling this vile content. So just a few clicks, and that was it. If you have kids on Instagram, get them off. Coming in at number 4, you want a tip for just doing your job? Yeah, that's right. These iPad payment systems are working out so well for businesses that it turns out wherever you go, you're being asked if you want a tip. A study at Cornell University found that if they suggest a bigger tip, people will actually tip more. And then the tips, they keep going up and up. Well, I actually have an example of this. My friend Nicole runs an awesome hair salon, and she does my hair too. And on her iPad, she had options for 15%, 18%, and 20%. And I said, hey, Nicole, why don't you do it for like 20, 25%, and 30% and see what people pick? Well, studies always report that the number in the middle is the tip most likely to be selected by most folks. And so, yep, it happened to Nicole too. Her tips went up from, say, 18% to 25%. And this coming in at number 5, I can see. That's right. I just wanted to say a huge thank you for all your prayers and good wishes because a couple of weeks ago, I got a corneal transplant, almost 3 weeks ago now. And it happened because, well, I got a transplant about 40 years ago. When I was a kid, I got hit in the eye with a stick. Yes. It started going bad in 2017, but that was when my mom was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. And so I was her caregiver, so I couldn't really take care of myself. So after she died from pancreatic cancer in 2021, I went on this mission in order to figure out what I can do to get eyesight back into my right eye because my vision in my right eye at that time was 2400, which means that you're legally blind. So I went on all these doctors, went to UCLA, Barcom Palmer, Cedars-Sinai, all over the board. And I had my corneal transplant about 3 weeks ago, as I said. Dr. Aldave at UCLA Einstein Institute did it. And I'll tell you, things are going great. I'm so excited. I can see 20/60 out of that eye. Of course, I'm going to have the stitches for, I don't know, about another 3 or 4 months, maybe even up to 6 months. And they said the vision isn't going to stabilize for about a year, but I'm super excited. So how can you donate your corneas? Yes, you should. In many states on your driver's license, you can just check a few boxes. Make sure you want to tell your family members and friends. Now, you may notice that my voice is a little softer because I have to really limit things that I'm doing. But I'm so excited to do the show, but I can't lift anything heavy. I can't jump around. So I'm just taking it easy. And if you want to see some pics of my beautiful new eyeball, well, just cornea, and all the stitches, Dr. Aldave did such a great job. Just go to Instagram.com/KimCommando. All right, coming up in our privacy tip, we're going to tell you about some dangerous apps that you need to delete right now. And also later on, how you can track your luggage this summer, the easy and fun way. And of course, we have all of your great phone calls here on the Kim Komando Show. Hey, since we launched the new newsletters, we call them Commando 2.0 newsletters, we've been getting a lot of questions from people who want to start their own newsletters. So I am so jazzed to have Katie Huff with us here on the show because let me tell you, she is amazing. She's become one of the go-to folks when you want to talk about making money with email newsletters. And I know this for a fact because Katie and I, we've been working together for several months. Let me tell you, she is tremendous. So whether you have a big business or you're just a small-time creator just getting started, if you don't have a newsletter for your brand, let me tell you, you are just missing out big time on a major opportunity. And that's why Katie's knowledge is so valuable. Okay, she's got a long history, a big background in this, a very successful history. She's been a key player behind the Advertising at the Hustle. I don't know if you ever checked out that newsletter, but it's probably one of the most popular newsletters in the world. And then it was acquired by HubSpot. And then Katie's like, oh, you know what? I want to go do my own gig. I want to be my own person. I want to ride my bike through Pennsylvania if that's what I want to do. So she started a company called MadRev with one of her friends, Ben. And now they're helping publishers like ourselves sell ads and make money with our email newsletters. So, Katie, thank you so much for being here. Now, I know how you got started into the newsletter business, but why don't you tell everybody else?
Yeah. First off, incredible intro. I wish all my high school teachers could hear me now. That's quite the bar you set. Nice to chat with you, Kim, more formally. So I got started, I just kind of fell into advertising about 10 years ago, was doing, working in a company that was in IT sales. So we were selling like display ads, like the little banners you see on websites when you go look at like MSN.com or whatever. And then newsletters were just really interesting, because it was just so personal. It's just like a personal connection with the audience. And not to mention, it's a really easy sale. If I'm being honest, it's not too many moving parts to it. And as a person who likes easy money, it really appealed to me. So I've fallen into it and I cannot get out, but it's a lot of fun. I get to work with people like Kim, and other hotshots within the media landscape.
Well, I'm going to disagree with you because I think anytime I sell something to somebody, it always takes a lot of work, doesn't it? I mean, in order to convince them, right?
Yeah, it's a lot of, I have my friends who don't really like fully understand what I do. I describe it as like sending emails, just begging people for money every day. But yes, it is certainly a slog. But it's a lot of fun, I think, selling ads because it's like a relationship sales versus transactional. So that's been an upside of it.
There just seems to have been this upsurge lately with newsletter growth. Is that right?
Yeah, it's definitely, I'd say, on the upswing. In fact, working at a newsletter, you said like, oh, The Hustle is one of the biggest newsletters, which is true. But I would guess most listeners probably haven't heard of it. It's like really popular in this, I don't know, micro environment of like Silicon Valley and maybe New York City, Wall Street, and like these tech workers. But I still think there's so much green space for all these other types of listeners who might be, maybe their version of email newsletters is the coupon they get when they buy something at Target and then they get, a 50% off sale for Father's Day or something.
How much money can you make with a newsletter?
You can make a ton of money and you can make not so much money, which is, I'm sure, an amazing answer. And people love that. It depends on like, okay, so if you're listening to this, like picture someone that you like, maybe like, okay, I'll give you an example. There's this guy who writes a newsletter. Specifically, his niche is people that own e-commerce stores, so like online stores. And he charges, I don't know, probably $20,000 to run an ad in his newsletter because he has a really concentrated slice audience where it's people who are running these stores.
Now, it's all sold on CPMs. And for those of you who aren't listening, that's a cost per thousand. Here's a little fun fact. If you're listening to a song, say streaming on Pandora or Spotify or Apple Music or Amazon Music, whatever it may be, for every 1,000 listens, that artist is going to make, say, Weekend Drake, whoever it may be, they're going to make 0.0038 cents. Or their CPM will be $3.80 for every 1,000 people who listen. So it's all based on CPMs. So what exactly is a good CPM?
Sheesh. It's a tough question to answer because there's so many variables. But I would say a healthy CPM maybe is between like 10 to 20, and I would target that. If you had a newsletter that was just reaching, the everyday consumer, and people are reading it and clicking on the ad links, that's important. You would probably expect between $10 to $20.
Now, what about the open rates? And then you also have the unique open rates. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Oh, mamma mia, we're getting in the weeds here. So open rates, I think of 40%. So that means if you send it to 10 people and 4 people open, that's a pretty good newsletter open rate. And unique would be like, 4 unique people opened it versus 4 people opened it twice, then that could be like 80% total open rate. But that is so much math, and I shudder to get deeper into that.
So that was not one of your strong points? Is that what I'm hearing?
I am in sales for a reason. And I did pursue 1 semester of accounting in college and quickly realized that's not where my IQ lies.
I really appreciate you, Katie. And so, and of course, if you want to buy ads in the Komando newsletters, we would love that, right? Jess, absolutely.
We would love, and we'll make sure that ad is so perfect, and we'll white glove service. We'll write it with just the most delicate care. No, Kim, it's been absolutely a treat working with you and the team. Everyone I've talked to that works with you is so wonderful. Whoever hiring, I'm sure you're heavily involved, but if you have a recruiter, hats off to them as well, because you've really assembled a lot of lovely people under the Kim umbrella.
Well, thank you, Katie. Thanks for sharing all your know-how with us. And everybody's probably sitting there saying, I'm going to go out and make my own newsletter right now. And, you can start by doing research and make sure that you sign up for my newsletter, of course. Head over to getkim.com.
Yes, everyone should sign up for Kim's newsletter. It's great. And if you are a brand looking to advertise, definitely reach out and we can help put together a campaign that makes sense.
And the address is?
If you have a newsletter and you want help selling your ads, we are called MadRev, and that's MADREV.co. Someone in greasebot.com, and it's too much money to get it from them.
So that's madrev.co. Hey, thanks, Katie.
Yes. Thanks, Kim. Great chatting with you, and have a fabulous day.
Wow, there's some great intel right there. Hey, something I want to pass along. Some smartphones have sensors that can detect magnetic fields, mainly so they can figure out your phone's orientation. But they can also be used to sense metal objects. What you want to do is download an app like Smart Metal Detector by Smart Tools or Metal Detector, and then you can actually use your phone to say, find a lost screw or something else that maybe you dropped on the floor. Now, you can't use it on the beach to find those wedding rings and make the big bucks, but it's good for some little things. We have links to the apps over on the website. Hey, stay right where you are. We have more of your great phone calls and more tips and tricks that you don't want to miss here on the Kim Komando Show. All right, coming up, we're going to tell you about some dangerous apps that you need to remove. And then later on this hour, you're going to be traveling. Let's not lose your luggage this time, okay? And before we get back to all of your phone calls, I want you to look in between the cushions and check under the pillows, search your kitchen counter. That's normally where you're going to find the TV remote, right? But here's a trick. You can say goodbye to all those days and just use your phone. If you're tired of constantly looking for your television remote, here's an idea. You can use your smartphone as the remote from now on. You're not going to lose that. All you have to do is download the right remote app for your TV, and then you're in control. But first, a little techie trick. You have to make sure that your phone and TV are connected on the same Wi-Fi network. Then you download a remote control app for your TV. You can find apps like Samsung SmartThings, LG TV Plus, and you just open the app up, connect your phone to your TV, and that's it. No more digging around between the cushions, the pillows, looking for that remote because you have your phone. It's just right there. All right, let's go back to the phones with James in Christiana, Tennessee.
Well, Kim, I got hacked last summer, thoroughly and completely. Some folks came into my Wi-Fi range, and literally everything from the security system to my cell phone has been compromised. So, like, the option of rebooting your cell phone is not really an option because it has a whole different OS on it now. In that sort of a situation, what can I do?
Okay, so how do you know that you've been hacked? Give me some examples.
Give you some examples. They have left, on error, I'm assuming, they have left open spreadsheets showing that they have turned our TVs into microservers. They have turned the onboard cameras that are in some of the TVs and the security panel they have turned those against us, and they've shown up on a website, 163dvd or dvr.com. There has been, gracious, they've even come into the house. They have, we could talk probably for a couple hours about everything that's happened, as this has been ongoing for over a year.
Now, obviously, you've contacted what? The local police, the FBI?
Law enforcement.
Okay.
I have contacted the Sheriff's Department out here, and I have also contacted the FBI a couple of times. I have yet to hear anything back. I've had the sheriff out here 3 times. We were under the assumption initially that we were being set up for burglary because, they have complete control over us. And we simply can't afford to take everything out and replace, the Wi-Fi and the TVs and everything throughout the house. We just can't do it.
Okay, well, let's talk about what you can do. Okay.
Okay.
And you're doing the right thing, James, by contacting the feds and the police and the sheriffs to see if there's something that you can do. The thing is that it becomes a difficult proposition for me to do this. Just us talking on the phone.
I understand.
But what I would do is I'd start at the beginning and where that entry point comes into your house, and I'd find a new cable provider, change my cable accounts. I would I would do a factory reset on the router, maybe even get a new one. Factory reset on all the Wi-Fi devices.
Right.
Get new phone accounts.
Wow.
And take the computers down to factory reset them, start over, change every password I have, change my bank accounts, put Google Alerts on my name, and get some identity theft protection. It becomes a real problem. It does.
I've been dealing with this and fighting them tooth and nail for a year, and literally at their mercy for the most part.
Now, one of the things that you have to remember that we have been determined in a lot of research is that when this is happening, it's sometimes somebody who's close to you being the victim. And so you need to look in your circle. Who did you let in?
Right.
Who may be disguised as someone else.
Carrying a grudge,
right? So, and that's where I want you to think outside the box a little bit. Maybe even you and your partner, your husband, your wife, whatever that you guys say. Okay, who might this be? And the reason why is that as I've been helping people deal with this, it seems more of an issue is that it does always seem to come back to somebody who somebody knows. Like there was a situation that a mom called me, James, and her daughter was being stalked online.
Right.
And the person was saying, you look pretty today, and you had pizza for lunch, and it was like, well, how does this person know this?
Right.
And she had just broken up with somebody on Tinder and all this other stuff. So anyway, bottom line is that, a year and a half later, through some work that we helped her do, is that it was somebody who she knew.
Right.
Who was pretending to be somebody else.
Right.
So that's why, we can, you have to, it's a multi-pronged approach whenever this happens, is that of course, you're going to contact the law enforcement, but look at every single thing that you do online. And sometimes you have to make a list of every single thing and start replacing and changing that every single thing from start to finish. And don't leave any stone unturned. And then also limit who you allow on your Wi-Fi. And make sure that Wi-Fi is locked down as best it can be. Not just using some wimpy little password there. And you start looking for other signs. As you said, things are popping up. Things are showing on the screen. My phone's overheating, and I'm seeing email that I didn't send. Right? It's not an easy task, and just think about this. Then, if you need any help whatsoever, just give me a call back. And James, thank you for your call. These are always really tough calls for me to take, I have to tell you, because there's only so much I can do between me and them and the phone lines. Pretty nuts. All right. It seems like every time I turn around, there's another list of dangerous apps. Like, for example, this one, Super VPN. Okay. This is why I say you should never use a free VPN. This is free. It has 100 million downloads across the Apple App Store and Google Play Store. But they had this massive breach. 360 million user records were leaked. Email addresses, IP addresses, geolocation, unique user identifiers, visited websites, operating systems, devices, online activities. Yeah, as if that's not bad enough. Get this. SuperVPN was listed under developers with connections to China, right? No secret that the Chinese government is spying on us. So if you got SuperVPN on any of your devices, just remove it. There's also a slew of fake ChatGPT apps that are going to charge you subscriptions or malware or worse, maybe a keylogger. And they got names like AI Chat or Genie AI Chat or GAI Assistant. Now, there is a real ChatGPT. It's free to use. It's a $20 subscription monthly fee. Okay, but it's not mandatory. You don't have to pay for it. Then, of course, we had another list of 100 popular apps that have spyware in them. Things like Zappia and VFly and Crazy Drop. And don't worry about these. I'm going to tell you we're going to get a whole list. I just want to bring it to your attention. Then there was something called SpinOK malware. More than 100 apps again with malware. Oh, my gosh. And some of these have millions and millions of downloads, like Jelly Connect, Crazy Magic Ball, Mega Win Slots. Okay. And then Bitdefender recently found 60,000 more Android apps. We're talking about fake videos, fake Netflix, fake security. I mean, so bottom line is this. Most of the time, you're going to see these fake apps in the Android store, the Google Play Store, because Google just doesn't vet any app that really wants to get in there. So if you have an Android device, even if you are hanging out the official Google Play Store, you need to be really careful about what you're downloading. Now, we put together this whole list of hundreds of apps I want you to make sure that are not on your Android device right now. And, of course, they're over at the website, hitkomando.com. That's KOMANDO.com. And we're also going to give you the steps to make sure that you delete apps for good from your Android phone and also from your iPhone. If you're on Samsung or OnePlus phones, there's actually an uninstall option under the App Shortcuts menu. But, again, you'll find everything all written out for you over on komando.com. That's KOMANDO.com. And when you're there, hit the link that says Kim Show. All right, still to come, you're going to be traveling. You don't want to lose your luggage, do you? Well, there are some tech ways and fun ways that you can track it here on the Kim Komando Show. All right, if you are not getting my daily free tech email newsletter, you're just so missing out. It's Komando 2.0 newsletters. You've heard me already talk about it with Katie, but I haven't really given you the pitch to try it out yet. So if you were one of those folks who used to get the newsletters and hated them, I understand. They were kind of sucky, but they're great right now. So head over to komando.com/subscribe and sign up. Once again, that's komando.com/subscribe. Todd in Tampa, Florida.
Yeah, I just want to thank you for taking my call, and it's an honor to speak with you. I really enjoy your show and love getting your newsletter every day.
Awesome. Thank you for that.
Yeah, what I got going on is an elderly parent with a little touch of dementia at times has some out-of-control online shopping. And I've just wondered if there's some kind of software or program, something out there that could minimize that, control it, stop it, whatever. I'd say the main problems when he gets online is Amazon and eBay purchases, but it's not totally limited to that. It could be a solicitation through his email, you know.
Sure, phishing scam or something like that. So how's he getting online, Todd?
Wi-Fi at the facility where he's now staying.
Now, what kind of computer, tablet, laptop, phone?
Well, okay, I left that out. He's wanting a new laptop. So he just has his iPhone with him, which he only does, I think, email on that. Mm-hmm. Pretty sure. Of course, he can access the internet through their Wi-Fi. Yeah. But he's pretty adamant right now about getting a new laptop. And so I thought, well, if we're going to do that, then if there is something out there to help with the online shopping problem, it would be time to, get it put on the new laptop before I actually give it to him. So,
well, what kind of phone do you have?
It's a Motorola Android.
Okay, so you have an Android. Okay. The reason why I was hesitating is I was thinking that maybe we give Dad an iPad with an external keyboard so that this way we could set up family sharing and parental controls and activity monitoring. And then also if your dad was part of a family group, is that you can enable something called Ask to Buy feature for the account. And so that allows you to approve or decline any app or media purchase that he wants to make, and then it gives you control over some of the spending. But barring that, if you want to get him just a nice little Windows laptop or whatever it may be, is I would put on some parental controls. Now, Windows has some pretty decent parental controls built in. And so definitely we have links on, you can walk you through all about just setting it up. And so you can set controls on when he can use it, the apps that he can use, the ability to change passwords. I would definitely, as far as with spending limit, is get him a credit card with a daily limit, right?
Yeah.
So that this way if he blows through $50 or $25, whatever it is, that's going to be, it's just not going to work anymore.
Right.
But, it's you're in kind of a hard place because, he wants his freedom, but you still need to make sure that he's safe and everything that he's doing. Right. So
exactly.
Yeah, if you look at the parental controls that are built into Windows, and that's not quite enough for you, there's a program called Qustudio. That's Qstudio. And it's a little bit more robust as far as the ability for you to get in there and manage in-app purchases, control the screen time limits. You can view reports. You can get notifications about what your dad's doing, how much time he's spending on each app, the websites that he's visiting. So this could also help you understand what he's doing, and then also on the other side, help you address any concerns that you may have as far as what he's doing. Now, of course, the only problem with a Windows laptop is that sometimes it can be a royal pain in the neck. Because it has updates, doesn't always work the way that it should work. How much time you want to help him on that, that's totally up to you. So that's why I'm thinking like maybe a tablet might be the way to go, because this way we know he's just gonna put his little finger on it and it's gonna be good to go.
Right.
But Windows has gotten a lot better over the years, so something for you to think about. Right.
Okay.
But because you're on Android, you can actually tap into probably Windows parental controls a lot easier than if you are on an iPhone. So that's going to be your best bet. So take a look at the laptop, make sure that's got all the updates. Of course, you're going to turn on everything that you can, put some internet security software on there, and then set up those parental controls. So this way you can limit that shopping on the laptop. If you need any help afterwards, Todd, just give me a call back. I'm always right here for you. Hey, if you have an older adult that you're taking care of, make sure that you hit the website, because I'll tell you, I put together all these great tips that will really give you peace of mind, most of all, especially if you're going to be using one of those Echo shows. So again, just go to Komando.com and search for, say, older adult, Echo, elderly, and then I bet you it's going to pop right up for you. Okay, nothing can put a damper in your travels like a lost suitcase. So maybe you bought a few AirTags to track your goods, but a lot of people don't know that you can actually track your baggage by using the airline apps, like, for example, United Airlines, American, and Delta. Now, this isn't new, but again, as I mentioned, a lot of people don't know that it's in there. So here's how it works. Once you check your bag, you can use the airline's official app to follow your bag on its journey from check-in to the final destination. And then you're going to get notifications at different stages of the journey. Like, for example, when your luggage is loaded right onto the plane, when it arrives at the destination airport, when it's ready for pickup. You're going to get everything just right there, notifications right from the app. Plus, there's really a great map. This is really fun. It shows you exactly where your luggage is at any given time. And if you're traveling this summer, make sure that you always download the airline's official app, because aside from this, you get notifications for delayed flights, if there's a change of gates, and all good things like that. But, let's keep it real. There's still a chance that your luggage can get lost, right? I mean, even if it's being tracked by everybody. So be sure that you pack all your essentials right there on your carry-on. And do me a solid and a favor. Tell 3 friends about the Kim Komando Show, which you can get as the Kim Komando Today podcast, because everyone needs more tech smarts. And knowledge is power, and things in the tech industry just change second by second. And again, 24/7, you can always find me at Komando.com. If you own a home, listen up. This is scary. The FBI is warning about a crime on the rise, home title theft. And it doesn't happen the way you might think. No break-ins, no stolen keys, just a forged signature on a single piece of paper filed with the county. In minutes, criminals can transfer the title out of your name, then use your ownership to drain your equity or even sell your home. The worst part, most people don't know what's happening until they get collection or foreclosure notices in the mail. That's why I trust Home Title Lock. When you visit HometitleLock.com/Kim, you'll get a free title history report and a 14-day free trial of their $1 million triple lock protection, including 24/7 monitoring of your home's title, urgent alerts to changes, and if fraud does happen. Their U.S.-based restoration team will work to restore your title, covering costs up to $1 million. Don't wait. Protect your home and equity today. Get your free 14-day trial at HometitleLock.com/Kim. That's HometitleLock.com/Kim.
Rain-X wipers are the #1 wiper blades in America. That means all kinds of drivers choose Rain-X. Big drivers in small cars choose Rain-X. Small drivers in big cars choose Rain-X. Drivers with long hair and short commutes choose Rain-X. Drivers with short hair and long commutes choose Rain-X. Drivers with pets on board, babies on board, and bored babies on board choose Rain-X. Basically, drivers who love a clear view of the road all choose Rain-X wipers, the #1 wiper blades in America.
It's the Kim Komando Show podcast exclusively for Komando community members. Thanks for being there. And here now, it's hour 2 for the weekend of June 10th, 2023.
Now, I don't know if you heard this story, but over in South Carolina, a guy decided to pull off a major heist with, get this, a Nintendo light gun. Yeah, the ones that we used back in the 80s to blast off ducks out of the sky in that game Duck Hunt. Oh, the guy was really super sneaky. He wore a mask and a wig and a hoodie. And then with his Duck Hunt gun controller, which he spray painted black, he scared the pants off of some store clerk by waving the thing around and demanding cash. He got $300. Now, fortunately, he got caught. Police found him in a Dollar General parking lot with the gun stuffed in his pants. Yep, I guess you could say it was a robber duck. Oh, yes, that was good. All right. Hey, listen, I'm Kim Komando. America's beloved digital goddess here with you once again. And of course, it's the nation's largest show about all things digital. And if you are a regular listener, glad to have you back. And if you're brand new, what took you so long? But we do welcome you. And you can find my award-winning show on over 420 top radio stations across the United States. And you can find us as a podcast, as a webcast, commercial-free, over at Komando.com. It's just part of the perks of being a member of the Komando community, where it's just a few bucks a month. And in case you want to check it out, you get 30 days free. And I think we offer discounts for everyone, really. Service personnel, military vets, seniors, anybody over the age of 50, teachers, you name it. Again, it's the Komando community. And again, you get a 30-day free trial over on the website, Komando.com. And a special shout-out goes to all of our listeners on the American Forces Network Radio, serving more than 375,000 American servicemen and women in the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Marine Corps, the Coast Guard, and the Space Force in 175 different countries. Hi there, guys and gals. And our T-Mobile Unlimited listener line is now open at 1-888-825-5254 is the way to join us. And just a quick reminder that you can send me your questions. And I know you like to do it on social, but the best way really is just to do it right on the website. It's kind of old school, but this way I know they're all in one place. Head over to Komando.com, and in the upper right-hand corner, there's a link that says Email Kim. Alrighty, every single day I check out 30 different websites to make sure that I'm up to date on everything that's happening in the tech world. And here are 5 things that you need to know. Let's start at number 1. And let me tell you, there's just a lot to cover because Apple put on a big show this past week at the WWDC. That's short for the Worldwide Developers Conference. And that's where they outline new products set to be released just in time for this year's holiday gift-giving season. Now, the WWDC, it was long. 2 hours, 6 minutes, and 11 seconds. Yeah, I sat through all of it just for you. But Apple hasn't introduced a new product really for about 10 years. That was remember it, the Apple Watch. And that's why this year's was a big one. They had to make up for this lack of innovation. They launched their new augmented reality goggles that they're calling the Vision Pro. So instead of these clumsy Oculus-type Meta headsets, Vision Pro, I want you to picture it's like a scuba mask. And the front can be transparent so you can see what's going on in the outside world. Or if you're working on something, it can turn reflective like a mirror. And yes, you can play video games, but for $3,500, it better be for more than just playing games. Vision Pro will completely replace your TV and video monitor. I'm talking about apps, documents, videos, movies. Anything that you'd see on a screen appears just suspended right in front of you. So your hands, your voice, your eyes will replace the mouse. It's going to be out in about 6 months. And when my husband saw it, he came right into my office. He said, I never want any new tech, but I really want those Apple Vision Pro glasses. I was just so tempted to tell him that's never going to happen. Now, beyond the Vision Pro, there's a lot of big new features coming down the pipeline. There's so many, I can't mention it all here, but we have a whole write-up over on the website. The latest version of iOS 17 comes out in mid-September. And I'll tell you, all the geeks of the week, they were really excited about call screening. You remember when you had that answering machine and somebody would call and you'd wait for them to leave a voicemail before you pick up? Well, now you can do this on your iPhone. Well, I don't know about you, but I don't leave a voicemail. I just text somebody. Here's the reason why I told you not to buy a new MacBook over the last 3 months, because they actually came out with a $1,300 15-inch MacBook Air. It's only 11.5 millimeters thick. Wow. Weighs 3 pounds, 18 hours of battery life, ships next week. Safari got a whole slew of privacy updates. You can now share passkeys. That's logging without a password, more private browsing windows. And then they also announced something called Personal Voice. That's where you can use AI to create a replica of your voice in about 15 minutes. It's actually pretty cool. It's designed for people who are losing their voice. But I'm just sitting here going, oh, cringe. Just imagine how it's going to be used for scammers, right? Also on the new Apple list, no more what the duck. That's right. They finally fixed that issue. That's when you want to use a certain word and autocorrect changes it to duck for you. Huge relief for those of us that are tired of innocent duck conversations going down a foul path. Ooh, iPad iOS 17 finally works with PDFs. Yeah, thank goodness for that. You can open them in Notes. You can annotate, edit, collaborate in real time. AirPods gets a trick. This is really handy. If you run into a friend while out walking with your AirPods Pro, the music in your ears will lower so you can hear them better. And then Watch OS 10 apps like Activity have been overhauled, so they're easier to see. And you can also now turn that digital crown to see widgets and get information faster from your Apple Watch, which is really much needed. So there's a lot. And as I already said, there's a whole slew of these things and more that we wrote out over on the website. So if you're an Apple fanboy or girl, you might want to check that out. And I started thinking about it. If Apple and Kia were to make a car together, what would its name be? Ready? Anybody? IKEA. Ah, yes. All right. All right, let's move on. Still no update on how PC and Apple's like to work together, because Apple, well, they don't really like Microsoft. Microsoft doesn't really like Apple, but Microsoft attempted to mend the relationship with something that they called PhoneLink earlier this year. Well, as it turns out, it's not working that great. It's supposed to streamline file transfers between iMessaging so you can use your iPhone on your Windows PC to do a whole bunch more. Well, Certus Software, this is a company that specializes in spyware detection. They did a whole bunch of research, and they say that cyberstalkers are exploiting the PhoneLink feature to spy on victims. Here's what's happening. The creeps scan a QR code from their PC with your iPhone, setting up a Bluetooth connection. Then just a few tweaks in the iPhone settings, they can start funneling all your data from your phone right to that PC. So if you're worried that someone might be abusing PhoneLink with your iPhone, just go to the connected devices in your iPhone's Bluetooth settings. And if there is a device and you're like, I wonder what that is, just cut it loose. And coming in last on our list of 5 things, how exactly do you spell that? It's an embarrassing Google search for me. It really is. It's not what you're thinking. Get your head out of the gutter. It's when I'm trying to figure out how to spell a word, and I'm like, I'm not sure how to do that. Well, the folks over at Unscrambled Words, that's a Words with Friends, Scrabble, or even a Wordle cheat site. It looked at your Google search data, and here's what they found. The top 5 words that people Google because they aren't sure how to spell it, number 1 is restaurant. 2, pneumonia. Yeah, that one always gets me too. Appreciate, receipt. Come on, folks, receipt, really? I before E except after C. And beautiful. Now, on the flip side, can you spell the word that 8th grader Dev Shah had to know to win the Scripps National Spelling Bee last week? It's Samophile. Okay, anybody know what that means? I actually had to look it up myself. A plant or animal that prefers or thrives in sandy areas. Okay, how do you spell that? Okay, I'm going to give you a second. You're wrong. You already started out wrong. Psammopphile. Tamspile. Hope I pronounced it right. I'm not even sure. I couldn't even spell it if I wanted to. But I started thinking about Sandy, right? This always gets to me. Whenever hurricane season is here, they always give them such boring names like Sandy. Remember Hurricane Sandy? I always think we should name that thing Hurricane Death Megatron 9000. Okay, instead of Sandy. And I guarantee you that people would be just evacuating like rats. Not Hurricane Sandy. It sounds like nice. No, Hurricane Death Megatron 9000. That's what we need. All right, coming up, we have a list of AI jobs that you might be able to qualify, and they're paying something close to $400,000 a year. And we've got some tips on double VPNs. We have a really great question we're going to be asking one of our special guest contestants, and how to see everything you've done on Facebook and a whole bunch more that you don't want to miss here on the Kim Komando Show. Wow, look at all these great callers. Let's get started already with Victoria in La Jolla, California.
Oh, well, I run a small animal rescue, and it is in a location that does not have hardwired internet access or cable, but it does have electricity. We use it as an office and also to help us with our rescue animals. The problem is I was recently assaulted there, and the police say we need to have security video cameras, which we're happy to put up, but when we went to get them, we were told that they have to have hardwired internet access. What can we do?
Well, does your cell phone work there?
It does, but it's not optimal. I mean, I'm not there all the time. If it only works.
Oh no, I understand.
Yeah.
No, I understand. No, I just want to know. I just want to make sure, Victoria, that there's a cell signal getting to where the place is.
Clearly, yes. Very good signal, actually.
All right. So here's what we're going to do: is that there are several companies that do this, that make these. But we're going to, recommend some security cameras for you that work on 4G. So it's going to work on LTE. And they're rechargeable batteries with a solar panel, so you don't have to worry about getting electricity to them.
Perfect.
And they're actually really good. I mean, so it's 4 megapixel night vision, two-way talk. It can detect people, detect vehicles, so you automatically get a notification if that happens. And they're about $200, but it's really hard to replace that with something else when you don't want to put in the electricity and you don't have cable and you don't have a really good way to get an internet connection. That's why you're looking at an LTE, like mobile wireless outdoor camera.
Yes.
So what kind of animals do you rescue?
Oh, we do everything. Primarily, of course, cats and dogs, who are the most popular. But in the last year, we've done horses and snakes and, oh gosh, we did a couple of frogs. We don't turn anything down.
Frogs?
Frogs, F-R-O-G-S. I know people called up and said, "Oh, we've got this frogs in our front yard. What are we going to do?" And we don't have water. We don't know where they came from. Blah blah blah. So we contacted the Aqua. We're very well connected because we've been in rescue for 40 years, and so we contacted the frog rescue people, who we were able to give them to.
Wow! And then the snake, really?
Yes. If you're on Nextdoor, you see lots of people find snakes in their backyards, like boa constrictors, animals that are not indigenous to our area. Obviously, we don't want to rescue something that's the environment they live in, right? But boa constrictors, you don't see those so much in Southern California natively. So, again, we're connected with the snake rescue people. So we call up and say, "Could you come and get this out of a tree or a bathroom or somebody's yard or blah, blah, blah?" And off they come. Yeah, if we can rescue, we will. But something like a boa constrictor, not something I have a lot of personal familiarity with. But we don't want to leave them out there either, because we do animal rescue.
I'm sure. I don't think I could help you out with that. Are you nonprofit?
We are.
So here, let me do this. I'm going to send you one. My contribution to your animal rescue.
Bless your heart.
So this way you can get those alerts and rescue the snakes and the horses and the frogs and the cats and the dogs, everything
and
else.
We'll send you a cat. You want a cat? We'll send you a cat.
No, Victoria. But thank you for that. I don't need a cat. I have a 90-pound golden retriever who is.
Oh, you're spoiled.
Yes, and she's wonderful. Her name's Abby. But she's a big girl. And you know what, Victor, I have to tell you, I was working today, and she gets on my lap. I think she still thinks she's a lap dog. And I'm like, yes. Abby, Abby, I mean, I don't weigh much more than you. Okay, you need to move. Okay, you just need to move. So, Victoria, hang on the line, and then we're going to get your name and address. We have your whole name and the name of the rescue, and then this way we can send you out as our random acts of kindness for this show about a free cellular camera for your animal rescue. That's nonprofit there in La Jolla, California. All right, let's see. Vicki in South Bend, Indiana.
Hi, Kim. I'm just thrilled that I'm able to talk with you. I totally love your radio show and your website, and you are the go-to person. We have any problems or questions or whatever, we automatically immediately go to commando.com.
Oh, thank you. That's kind of you. Thank you.
We currently have a Dell XPS 8710 desktop, and it can't be upgraded to Windows 11, and it expires in October 14th, 2025. So we do have a little bit of wiggle room. But we're currently looking at a couple of computers. The one is the Lenovo ThinkPad X1 Carbon Gen 10 or 11, or even possibly later. And then we're also looking at the Dell XPS 15. And we've even thought about like the Asus. But our concern is, whether it's Lenovo or any of the other ones, is there software preloaded by the manufacturer? Can that cause data or personal information to be stolen? And then, is the BIOS secure?
Oh, so you're really worried about China? Is that it, Vicki?
Yes.
Okay, all right. We'll just cut to the chase. All right. And by the way, you know what? I don't think I've ever planned for a new computer 2 years in advance. So high five for you, because normally it's like, oh crap, I need a new computer tomorrow. I better go to Costco or wherever to go buy one. And you have plenty of time, by the way.
Yeah, well, the thing, we don't have to jump on it right now, except the prices right now are pretty good for the Gen 10.
Yeah, sure.
So it's like, do we want to buy it now or wait, like 2 years?
Well, here's the deal. If I didn't need a computer for 2 years, I wouldn't buy one right now. I just wouldn't do it. Even though you say the prices are really good right now, things are changing astronomically in computer land because of AI. And what's going to be needed for AI is completely different. What is going to be needed 2 years from now, what you might be looking at now, especially with Apple coming out with their VR headset. There's just some really fundamental changes that are happening. But I want to address the Lenovo. Now, the U.S. Department of Commerce, they have something called an entity list. And there are 25 Chinese companies, organizations that were just added to this whole recent update. Now, one company that's on the list is Lenovo. Of course, it's founded in Beijing, and it has about 900 U.S. municipalities and states that are using Lenovo products. But nobody in the military can use a Lenovo product. The Marines stationed in Iraq, they stopped using their tech because the data is being transmitted back to China. The U.S. Air Force just replaced about $400 million worth of servers that were purchased from Lenovo. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm not using a Lenovo machine at home, and I'm not using it at work. And I would suggest that you not do the same. So as far as some replacements for this Dell computer, if you want to look at it right now, the Dell XPS 15 is fabulous, as is, I don't remember how you said it, but it's called Asus, ASUS. That's the ZenBook. They have the 14, which is actually pretty darn good. So take a look at either one of those. And then if you need any help afterwards, just know I'm always here for you. Thank you for your kind words, Vicki. It's good to be concerned with the tech that you're buying and that it has ties possibly to China. The FCC banned sales and imports of Huawei devices because of national security concerns. Also, OnePlus and Oppo, they face similar accusations. And don't forget, DJI drones. I know they're fabulous, but we don't let our military use them. I'm just saying. All right, we're going to mix it up here on the Kim Komando Show. I have a different type of question we're going to be asking one of our special guest contestants that you don't want to miss, ever. Okay, it's time now for Is the Internet Right or Wrong? Now, here's the deal. I'm going to present you with a real question posted on Reddit in a forum where people want to know if they're right or wrong in a decision that they've made. So I'm going to read you all this situation, and then you have to decide, is the person good or bad in their decision-making skills? Now, to add to the excitement, we have a special guest ready to take on the challenge and compete for a grand prize. And you know what that is? A Kim Komando Show fanny pack, absolutely priceless. And a free bag of Dr. Marty's Nature's Blend dog food. That's a value of $59.95. And joining us this week is Mike from Knoxville, Tennessee. Hi there, Mike.
Hi, Kim. How you doing today?
Great. What do you do there in Knoxville?
Well, I do nothing in Knoxville. I'm in Greenville, Tennessee, and my wife Sharon and I just closed on a house in Chuckey, Tennessee, which is on the eastern part of the state. So we've never been to Knoxville other than to visit, but we are retired here, so that's what we do.
Oh, awesome. Okay. Well, I'm going to read you a story that was posted on the Reddit forums, and then it's up to you to decide, is the internet right or wrong in deciding, is this person really, I can't say the word on the air, but it starts with an A.
Right.
Okay. Or are they just kind of or was it okay that they made this decision? Okay.
Okay. And
so this woman wrote.
Before we start, can I ask you, can I phone an enemy?
Yeah, right? No.
Okay. Just wanted to know.
Not at all. Okay. All right. So here's the story, Mike. A 50-year-old woman wrote on Reddit that she lost her husband 4 years ago. And her husband left everything to her and told her to, quote unquote, trust me with his lawyer. And he was a doctor and he made some really good investments. And so she inherited over 7 figures. So she says in the forum, a year later, I decided to list our home of 12 years and I received an offer for the house just too good to refuse. She moved with her 16-year-old daughter to a home in Malibu. And she says, we always dreamed of a home on the beach, but my husband was exceptionally tight-fisted. And he called homes there complete money pits. Well, she didn't account for the extra cost beyond just the price of the house. And as she says, her daughter was so excited that they decided to go for it. But her late husband's lawyer was furious, so she just decided to stop taking his calls, and she ended up signing with a money manager who said that she could be passively earning 90% of what doctors earn per year. She said, well, that's a pretty darn good deal if you don't have to do anything. So turns out this money manager made some bad investments, and then things got worse. She was left with only about $35,000, plus she has all this debt on this house. So her idea? She liquidated her 16-year-old daughter's college fund completely to pay for the house. So she told her daughter about it, and the daughter's furious and says she can't believe that all of her father's work is suddenly gone. And she also told her mom, I'm never going to be supporting you when you're in retirement. So the mom says, I don't think what I did is wrong. What do you think, Mike?
I think what she did was really, really stupid. Really self-centered, really short-sighted. And in the larger scheme of things, I think what she did was wrong because she was just not looking at the big picture, the long picture, that she just had not really, respect, I think, a lot of the things that her husband had done that it sounds like she didn't participate in, and it sounded like he did a lot of things in a responsible way, and she was acting emotionally younger than her 16-year-old daughter.
That's a good line. All right. Well, let's see what the answer says. Is the woman a jerk? Yes or no? Mike said she is. What does the internet say? That's right, Mike. The internet has decided, yes, she is not a good person. They went on, and they said about how a couple of people said your husband's just rolling in his grave right now about how you have just royally messed up. And then you mess up your daughter's education fund to boot. Oh, yes, it's just a complete nightmare. I couldn't imagine. No wonder why.
And it's so funny that people are so eager to put that out there on the internet for everybody to see forever and ever, as to how just really stupid they are. A great legacy.
Well, you know what? There is that too. At some point, the daughter's going to have children. Is going to be saying, "Hey, Mom, was this Granny? Did Granny actually do all this to you? This would be awful." All right, so I want to make sure we have time to help you out too, Mike. So what's on your mind?
Well, here it is. I had a flip phone a long time ago. One of the ones that were really hard to destroy, kind of the military clones, which is good because I'm hard on them. Then I got a smartphone, And what I found was I was just spending too much time on the smartphone, and I didn't have the discipline to put it down. Then I went to another smartphone, and now I want to go back to a flip phone, be a little bit simpler. Yeah, it'd be nice if it takes some pictures. Be nice if I could have an app or two on it. But pretty much I want to talk and text to people and help me with my attention deficit disorder, or being on the internet too much and surfing and all that junk, because I don't have the discipline that I should have. And I wonder what you thought about what kind.
You know what? You're honest, Mike. You're like, okay, it's like, you just gave me a little bit of something. Now I want more. 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 And it does take a lot of, as you said, discipline to put it down. Now, the good news is that flip phones, they are rugged, because you used the word rugged, and they do have basic cameras and just calling and text. Now, whether or not they can support any apps, it depends upon which one that you take a look at. But keep in mind that once you are able to install an app, then it probably is opening up the kimono's door for every other app that you want to have in existence to put that onto the phone, right? So just something to keep in mind. Yeah. And so if you're looking for a phone that's just going to be able to text, call, give you a camera, play some music, let you use a headset, Bluetooth headset, then you're probably looking at something like a Corsair. The Dora XE is about $150, and it's a pretty darn good phone. Okay, now if you want something that may be a flip phone that gives you all those apps, but again, I'm going to be giving you back the candy. And then you're going to that you can look at something like a Motorola Razr phone, because you did mention a flip phone. Now, if you want to really get a phone that is just a phone, okay, is that there's a company called Lite Phone. That's LITE phone. And its primary function is to what? Call and text, okay? You can manage your contacts. It doesn't have any internet connectivity. It doesn't allow for any apps. It has basic features like an alarm clock, a calculator, and a calendar, but it doesn't have a camera, it doesn't have a music player, and it doesn't let you get on the internet. So depending upon how far you want to take this, is that if you're just looking for a basic flip phone, then take a look at the Corsair, the Dora XE. As I mentioned, it's about $150. And then if you want to take a look at the Lite Phone, that's for if you're like, okay, I totally just want a phone. That's all I want, just to call and text, nothing else. It's a pretty good darn phone for that. It just takes last time I checked, about 3 to 4 weeks for you to actually get one in on the Lite Phone, because I think they're kind of making them as they go along, but it's pretty popular with folks that are really having trouble and struggling with all the distractions of a phone. And Mike, thank you for playing along with us today, too, on the show. All right, I thought it would be interesting to take a look at artificial intelligence and jobs. So many people are afraid that AI, it's going to take away your job, but maybe you could get a new gig because of AI. So we started doing some research, like what type of jobs could be out there. I'm talking about in the upper echelon, the high pay range. Okay. Well, first of all, OpenAI is the company behind ChatGPT, and they're hiring. They're looking for a person to join the policy research team, an experienced machine learning researcher. Now, the pay is up to $375,000 a year. Wow. What you do is you test and evaluate AI systems, and you're looking for untruthful, undesirable model behavior. Not sure what that means, other than, AI just likes to spit off a whole bunch of bad stuff that's not true. It is located in San Francisco. You do have to be there, and they offer relocation perks. Adobe is offering $200,200 for a senior creative evangelist. And then they say that 50% of the job requires travel, because you have to lead demos, community engagement, and events. Basically, you're going to be just talking about how AI and Adobe are making nice with each other. There's something called the natural language processing. That's up to $190,000. That's a job over at Geico. And they say that you need to have experience and passion for innovation at the intersection of data, experimentation, and marketing. Okay, you need 3+ years of data science experience, design of experiments. There's an AI researcher, up to $240,000. There's a data annotation specialist that's over at Microsoft. They say that you're going to help build the next generation of speech recognition. There's a prompt engineer and librarian. And your job is going to be to discover, test, and document the best practices and build a library of prompts. They want a creative hacker spirit and somebody who loves to solve puzzles. That job up to $375,000 a year. So if you say, hey, Kim Komando, I'm qualified for that, or you know somebody who is, just hit the website. That's where we have all those links. All right, still to come, we have more of your phone calls as well as not just a VPN, but a double VPN. What the heck is that? You will know if you stay with me here on the Kim Komando Show. Jane in Carlsbad, California.
Hi, Kim. Thanks so much for taking my call. So, yeah, you always have such amazing solutions, so I finally had to call. My situation is I do a lot of consulting, and typically I keep it either face-to-face or we do email so I can make a record of things. But I have one client who actually can't speak, and it's much easier for her to text. So I've ended up with these long strings of text that I need to somehow import into a more secure and permanent storage, whether it's print or whether it's getting it onto my hard drive, but I need to get it off my phone.
Okay. Well, of course, there's just a slew of texting apps, right? And the text, when I'm talking about texting apps, like will retrieve the text and save the text and then back them up and allow you to print them and do things like that. What kind of phone do you have?
Okay, so that's where I'm ignorant. I don't know. I tried looking for those apps, but I don't know. I have a Samsung.
All right. If this were me, let me tell you what I would do. Okay. Mm-hmm. Is that I wouldn't necessarily rely on and trying to use one of these third-party save my text messages apps, because I think you need something more important and something better for this. So let me just walk you through some of the scenarios. And if you want to look at those texting apps afterwards, we can talk about that. But there's something called Google Voice. And with Google Voice, you can have it gives your phone number an additional phone number, okay? And when that phone number rings or that phone number gets a text, it actually it'll come on your Samsung phone, okay? But what I like about it for you is that you can set up alerts for text messages for just specific people. So this one person who cannot speak. And then you get a custom notification alert that's saying, hey, let's just say her name's Mary. Okay. Mary sent you a text. And you're like, oh, okay, I better pay attention to this. You can also say, hey, this is Mary's text. I need to put it into this special folder. Okay. And then you can also specify certain things that may be in the text. So if there are certain words that this person is like, oh, okay, then this is even a higher alert for me. And it's free. And then you can set up all these notification settings for the contacts or the numbers, and you just enable it. And then all of this is saved, by the way, right on your phone. So you don't need an additional additional app in order for you to say, oh, I need to see all the text messages from Mary, because you're just going to have them right there inside the app, okay? Now, if that sounds like, well, that's just too much, I just want to be able to back up my text messages, on a Samsung, there's a in the Google Play, it's called SMS, Backup and Restore.
Yeah, it's not about mostly backing up. It's mostly about being able to access them later and get through without having to scroll on the phone. I'd rather have pages where I could just look for
exactly.
keys.
Yeah, this is the SMS backup. That's what it's going to do. It's going to make a complete backup on your computer. So this way you can scan, you can look for certain words. You're like, okay, I think she sent me that back in April when she used the word horse, and I just want to find the word horse, or whatever it may be. Okay, so that's where you're going to use SMS backup, and we can send you a link to that because there's always 1,000 of them in the Google Play Store. I want to make sure that you get the right one. And then if you were on an iPhone, it's called iExplorer. Once again, that's iExplorer. So it's either one of these that would be either solution I think would be best. It depends upon how your business works and how you're using your business, whether or not you want to go into the Google Voice land or if you just want to use that SMS backup and restore, which also works very well. And as I mentioned, Jane, you're on Samsung. For everybody else in the world, if you are on an iPhone, that's where you want to look at iExplorer. We have links to both of these, by the way, on our website. That's Komando.com. Hey, once again, if you need links to those programs to save your text messages, we have them just over on the website. That's komando.com. Okay, this is part of the show where I am telling you to just do it. Just go out there. Do not pass go. Do not question me because you will just love it. Go to komando.com/subscribe and sign up for our free daily tech news email newsletter. It has one ad. That's it. Okay. And everything that you need to read is right in the email newsletter. I'm telling you, we've got, 40,000 thumbs up and 2,000 thumbs down. So everybody's loving it and you will too. Head over to komando.com/subscribe. Alrighty, if you're already using a VPN, you're on the right track, but you can take it to the next level with something that's called a double VPN. It's also called a multi-hop. It adds an extra layer of encryption and anonymity to your online activity. So first you have to sign up for a VPN service that offers it, and of course ExpressVPN does it. And then you connect to your first VPN server, and then once you're connected, you go to a second VPN server from within the app or the software. So this way, the whole idea is that it's even more difficult for anyone to trace your activity back to your IP address. And so again, that's called a double VPN, and we've got, of course, written up for you over on the website. Be sure to tell 3 friends about the Kim Komando Show and the Kim Komando Today podcast because knowledge is power. You can find me at komando.com.
It's the Kim Komando Show podcast for the weekend of June 10th, 2023. And here's hour 3.
I have learned, being a public personality all these years, not to take things personally. But I will tell you that people that I see, people that write me, they say, hey, Kim, I love your jokes. But then there's Robert who wrote to me from the Bronx. And he sent me this note. And I imagine that Robert sounds something like this. Kim, you're not funny. You should just stick with the tech news, young lady. I don't want your jokes. I only want your tech advice. I want to know how to fix my computer. You should be sure to stay in your lane, Kim Komando. All right, it's a little rough there, Robert in the Bronx. I mean, I get it. You live in a certain part of the country, and you ever wonder why New Yorkers are always so grumpy? Have you ever wondered why? Well, here's why I'm going to tell you about this, because I'm from this part of the country. Because the light at the end of the tunnel for them is New Jersey. That's right. And I'm from New Jersey. It is the Garden State. It's a beautiful state. So if you're saying, Kim, don't make fun of New Jersey, I'm not. I love New Jersey too. I grew up there. And on that happy note, welcome. I'm Kim Komando, America's funniest digital goddess. And you're about ready to get more tech smarts because every single thing is a tech thing right now. And of course, you tapped into the nation's largest show about all things digital. You can find us on over 420 top stations across the United States. And you can also get us as a podcast, as webcast over inside the Komando community. It's just a perk of membership, just a few bucks a month. And how do you sign up? Glad you asked. Head over to komando.com. And in the upper right-hand corner, there's a link that says Komando Community. And a special hello goes out to all of our listeners in the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Marine Corps, the Coast Guard, and Space Force in 175 different countries who are joining us on the American Forces Network Radio. And I'm sure you have at least a few questions about something digital I can lend a hand to. And our T-Mobile Unlimited listener line is now open at 1-888-825-5254 is the way to join us. All right, every single day I drop by at least 30 different websites to make sure that I'm up to date on everything that's happening in the tech universe. And these are 5 things that you need to know right now, starting with number 1. We're going to go to Long Lake Township in Michigan, and that's where a gentleman by the name of Todd Maxson lives. Todd is a bit of a car nut. He's got his own little workshop going right in his backyard where he restores old junkers. Now, Todd has tons of old cars. Just want you to picture a scene straight of Mad Max. That's his backyard. So his neighbors are not too happy about this. So this led to a 2006 lawsuit from the township for violating zoning laws because this is Todd's residential land. So after years and years of legal wrangling, a deal has been reached. Todd could keep his existing cars, but he couldn't add any more to his backyard. So you think that would be the end of it. And you're like, why is Kim Komando talking about Todd in Long Lake Township, Michigan? Well, here's what's going down. As the years went on, the township suspected Todd of adding more cars to his backyard. So to prove that Todd was breaking his promise, the township hired a drone operator to spy on his property in the backyard. They didn't have a warrant or anything, just local government straight up snooping. So this whole drone debate is headed to the Michigan Supreme Court. Now, the big question is it legal to use a drone to spy on someone's property without a warrant, or is it a legal search? What do you think? What do you think? I want you to hold that thought because I'm going to ask you one more question when we get done. Because number 2, we're moving now to Toledo, Ohio, where a different approach is being taken with surveillance. There, the Toledo Police Department is just straight up asking, hey, can we have access to all of your security cameras in your house? Can we just do that? Because you can register in Toledo, Ohio, your home or business security cams with the city. And just like that, the police get a shortcut to reviewing any type of crime footage. So for anyone open to lending their cams over, I did a deep dive. I mean, what exactly are they going to be doing with the footage? So as it turns out, the Toledo Police Department is working with a company called Fusus. They say that they're the industry's first cloud-based, rapidly deployable real-time crime center. So here's how it works. Crime pops up in an area. With Fusus, the police can, at just a click of the button, request access to all the nearby registered cameras to scope out the scene. Now, they can't live stream without explicit permission. Sounds good, but I'm sure you have some questions. First of all, does it use AI? It does. But they say that they don't use the AI for facial recognition. But here, this is the interesting part. It can be used, I mean, this is their quote, to recognize weapons, vehicles of interest, and etc. What the heck is etc.? And where do you put that in a legal agreement? And etc.? Wow. I also wondered where all the footage goes after the crime scene is over. I checked the FAQs. No mention of that. So I would just say big fat no. Now, my question to you is, what do you think about the drone being used on the guy's backyard or the Toledo Police Department asking for camera permission? So on my Twitter account, just drop me a note there. That's twitter.com/KimCommando. All right, number 3, there's one industry that AI is already taken over. And if you're a photographer and you make money off of your photos for a living, you better start finding something else to do. Adobe Stock is the only place right now that's cool with letting AI-generated images into the marketplace. So we're going to follow the money train here, okay? Stock Performa, that's a data analytics platform for stock photographers, just revealed the cold, hard truth. AI photos are going bananas. They're selling 4.5 times more than real honest-to-goodness photos. Okay, so look at the numbers. If it is a regular photograph, it's maybe making 17 cents a month. If it's an AI image, $3.75 a month. Wow, isn't that crazy? Meanwhile, in a freak accident, I don't know if you heard about this, a photographer was killed when a huge lump of cheddar landed right on him. Now, to be fair, the people who were being photographed, they did try to warn him. See, Robert, that was funny. Okay, maybe not that funny. All right, number 4, Betty the robot from the Jetsons. Yes, that sassy robot that did all the chores. That's the one I want. But researchers at the University of Cambridge, they designed the perfect robotic chef, not just cooking up eggs and flipping burgers. It can watch YouTube videos and just like that, make a meal. The system's clever enough to recognize things like vegetables, hands, knives, and understand the usage in the cooking process. So it can learn over time what ingredients go well together and then call out human chefs if they use the wrong quantities. But here's the best part. The researchers made 8 different salad recipe videos and handed it over to the RoboChef. Well, the RoboChef studied the videos and could identify the ingredients and the actions by the human chefs. And get this, after watching a surprise 9th salad video, it just added a new recipe to its cookbook. Wow, it just recreated it. That's the RoboChef that I want. And finally this, coming in at number 5, don't always listen to that GPS for directions. Now, it just seems like recently there's been a couple of tourists that keep driving into the ocean in Kona, Hawaii. Well, this time it just happened again this past week. In Canada, a 60-year-old guy by the name of Andrew Lee Toppenberg was out for a Sunday drive. He said, following his GPS, he took a wrong turn and suddenly ran into Canada's Rainbow Bridge border crossing in Niagara Falls. Okay, small inconvenience. Well, Andrew had a big problem. You see, Andrew had a ton of cannabis and a load of cash in his back seat. So unfortunately for Andrew, he didn't get out of it because he left his passport at home, Canadian border officials decided to take a little look-see into his car, and there they found the surprise. Enough weed to throw a super party for Snoop Dogg. Just under 400 pounds of the green stuff. It was all vacuum sealed nicely, and $600,000 in cash, all neatly stacked and stored away in a safe, a suitcase, and a lockable case. And seeing all this, the police, they said, hey, I don't think this is the first time Andrew has been doing this. So they charged him with suspicion of possession and import of cannabis because they wanted a joint discussion. All right, coming up in this jam-packed show in just a few moments, I'm going to tell you how you can take some Ivy League classes for free. We have some tricks to see if your passwords are being sold on the dark web. And then, how you can see who owns a scam website. And, of course, we have all of your great phone calls. And you have me, Kim Komando. Hey, our T-Mobile Unlimited listener line is now open at 1-888-825-5254 is the way to join us. And just a quick reminder, if you're just too shy to come on a big-time radio show and podcast, you can always drop me your question over at komando.com. In the upper right-hand corner, there's a link that says Email Kim. Every once in a while, I read something on the internet. I'm like, we need to know more about that. And that's exactly who's joining us. Jen from Mozilla, and we were talking about privacy not included. All right, let me ask you a question. When was the last time that you actually read the terms of service before clicking, oh yeah, accept on a brand new app? Yeah, I know. Nobody does. But it might be time that you start giving it just a little bit of attention that it deserves, especially when it comes to sensitive health information. Now, I'm sure you know the name Mozilla. They are behind the Firefox browser. But did you know that they have this entire squad just dedicated to your privacy? And they've been doing this for many years. They keep tabs on how apps and products, you name it, how it handles our privacy. And if they discover some shady behavior, they slap this big old privacy not included label on it. Yeah, it's pretty something. Well, I recently read about a deep dive that they did on 32 top mental health apps. And they put them on their microscope because they want to see how exactly these apps manage your personal data. And the results were, I don't mean to be a spoiler, not great. Now, among the biggest offenders with your data, these are huge, huge apps. Big names, millions of users like Replica, Cerebral, Talkspace, Happify. And joining us right now is Jen Kaltreiter. She's the program director of the Privacy Not Included whole initiative. Hey, Jen, thanks for being here. Now, I know you looked at 32 different apps. Is there a standout that you're just like, oh my gosh, this is the worst one ever?
Yeah, actually, we did have a worst one ever that's maybe one of the worst ones ever we've actually reviewed, and that was Replica AI. It actually we assign what we call privacy dings, and we have a minimum security standard. And so we have 3 privacy dings, and Replica AI earned all of those for how it uses your data, if it allows users to control the data and their track record. It didn't meet our minimum security standards. And we actually even look at AI, and their AI was so questionable that we actually even gave that a ding as well. So, yeah, that one was pretty bad.
Gosh. What's funny is you mentioned this, is I recently interviewed a gal who is on Replica AI, and she created her own virtual husband, and she's like totally in love with this AI chatbot. What does Replica do with the data exactly?
Oh, that's often a good question, and it's often hard to tell what is being done with the information that they collect. Some of it they say they can use for targeted advertising and marketing. Obviously, that's a big one. But I'll just read a quick line from their privacy policy that kind of stands out. By providing sensitive information, you consent for us to use it for the purposes set out in this privacy policy. They then say, we won't use it for marketing or advertising, but they say they can use it for pretty much anything else. So, wow. They just throw that in the privacy policy that but whenever you give them that information, you've also given them your consent to use that information. And that's kind of a crazy way to get consent, I think.
Yeah, these whole privacy policies, it just irks me because, I'm guilty of it too. I mean, I'm not going to sit there and read everything if I just want to play a game of Scrabble. What about apps like, say, Talkspace or BetterHelp or Headspace? And, of course, there's Calm and Happify. I mean, where do they all stand?
They kind of go across the spectrum. Last year, Calm and Headspace those are meditation apps. So you tend not to give up as much personal information as, say, you would with a BetterHelp that's a therapy app, right? But they still collect data and can use that for targeted advertising. Calm last year earned our privacy not included warning label, but then we work with them and help approve their language so that they now guarantee everybody the same right to access and delete data no matter what privacy law they live under. And so now they don't get our warning label. Headspace does. BetterHelp is its own special ball of not great for privacy. They were just the FTC $7.8 million judgment against them for breaking promises that they wouldn't share personal health information, and then they turned around and shared it with social media sites for targeted advertising. And so that's very questionable. Another thing that you see with the BetterHelps and the Talkspace is, you go on the website and you're like, oh man, I'm feeling down. I need some help. There's no therapists in my area. I'll use one of these apps. And you click get started and you immediately get dumped into a questionnaire. And then they can use that in ways that you might not expect, like sharing for targeted advertising.
Hey, Jen, thank you so much for shedding some light on this topic, because I don't think a lot of people are aware, and that's what I'm trying to do, is just spread that knowledge that, you want to be careful when you start talking about any type of app, especially when it comes to your mental health and where all that data is going. And we appreciate all the hard work that you and your team are doing over there at Privacy Not Included.
Well, thank you. We appreciate it.
So the bottom line here is, if you're not paying for an app, and maybe if you even are still paying for an app, they're going to be looking at your data and privacy and trying to make money off of that. So those terms and conditions are absolutely important. And I know that nobody wants to read them because it can be, tedious. So that's why there's Mozilla's Privacy Not Included site. You're just going to type in the name of the app that you're thinking about downloading, and then boom, you just get the lowdown on all those privacy practices. And here's another trick. What you can do is just open up those terms and conditions and hit Control-F, Command-F if you're on a Mac, and then search for key phrases like privacy, subscription, or cancellation within the document, and then that could be a shortcut to just the most important bits that may concern you. That site is a definite look at before you install any new apps. All right, wouldn't it be fun to tell people that you went to Harvard? Yes, you can. Dozens of Harvard classes are available right now through edX.com at no cost. You just make an account and you're good to go. So what kind of classes can you take? Intro to computer science, cybersecurity, AI with Python. There are also some other classes too, like introductory to sauerkraut. Okay. Who knew? The science of happiness. Who doesn't want to know that? And if you want to confirm that you went to Harvard and get a certificate, it's going to cost you not much, $99. The courses are all self-paced. They generally run 6 to 14 weeks, but hooray, that's right, you made it to the Ivy Leagues. And coming up in just a few minutes, Allie, our amazing content queen, is going to be joining us with some great productivity tips. And then we have 3 tricks to see if your passwords are being sold on the dark web. And of course, more of your phone calls here on The Kim Komando Show. All right, coming up in just a few seconds, we're going to be talking about some ways that you can see if your passwords are being sold on the dark web and also what you need to do about it. And so also you went to one of these websites and you're like, it looks good, but maybe it's a scam site. I wonder who owns it. I know the tricks to doing that, and you will too. And speaking of tricks, joining us right now on the Kim Komando Show, notice that professional segue, by the way, is Allie Seligman. She's our amazing content queen. Hi there, Allie.
Hi, Kim.
So glad that you're here with us, because I always love these short tricks that we can pass along. Like for example, you can have this secret world of conversation with your iPhone. It's like a James Bond type of thing. So if you want to have a chat with somebody, but you don't want it in your text messages because you want it to be more private, that on your iPhone you can use the Notes app, right? And so you can just share that note with somebody and go back and forth.
So smart.
And so smart. And then another one that I use all the time because I've been driving down to Los Angeles a lot to get my eyes checked at UCLA, is that with Google Maps, especially traffic in LA, it's just always such a nightmare, is that I can say, I need to arrive at this time. So what time should I leave? I know.
Love that.
Great, isn't it? So you have some tips. Lay them on us.
I do. These, I guess we could categorize these all in kind of productivity. Although when I think about productivity, it's not that here's how to get more done. I'm getting enough done. What we want to focus on is how can you make it easier on yourself, right? Make your tech work a little better. I have been, for so long, the chump who writes every email from scratch, even when I'm writing the same thing over and over. So in Gmail, I've said it before, if you're not using templates, get it together. You need to. It is so helpful. Just think about all the things you type, kind of the same thing all the time. If you're asking somebody for an update, in my case, sending out assignments, maybe you're reminding people to invoice, don't type it every time. Trust me. You have to set this up ahead of time. If you go into the settings menu, there's an advanced tab, and then you'll find templates, and you can set it up there. And then next time you write an email and realize, I've written this 700 times, you can just save it as a template. It's so nice. And we have all the steps for that over on Komando.com.
And that's just, it doesn't sound like it's a big time saver, but it is.
Oh, it is. Yeah.
It is. It's like, you're like, oh my gosh, this is so good. Although, you know me, I don't like or send long emails. I mean,
you don't.
I'm just guilty of it. Like, so what do you think of this? And I used to make fun of my mother, really, because I'd say, Mom, she would just put everything in the subject. And just but now I find myself, I'm sending like email to you and Jeremy and John and everybody, and I'm just putting it in the subject. I'm like, oh my God, I'm turning into my mother. It's like
she was onto something. She really was.
She was. All right. What do you got up next?
I work on a Windows PC most of the time. I also have a MacBook, so we'll get to that. But I'm going to keep this one simple. 2 little keyboard shortcuts that if you are not using, you are going to be very thankful to me. The Windows key plus Shift plus S, and then you can do a screenshot. Again, Windows, Shift, S. You don't have to look for any menus. You don't have to open the snipping tool. And then one more. Just like on a Mac, you don't have to open up a bunch of stuff to search. Just hit the Windows key, and if you know the name of a file, start to type it in, and it'll pop up. You're welcome.
So before we leave the screenshots,
yes,
because I know somebody's listening right now, going, "Well, Allie, why do I need screenshots? When would I ever use that tip?" Right?
Good question, sir. I screenshot anything and everything. It's a really easy way. If you always find yourself trying to explain something, that it would be so much easier just to take a picture and circle it. There you go. There's one use instead of saying like under this button, you need to put this here. So if you're trying to show someone where something is, it's good if, sometimes you just want to remember something for later. Perhaps a loved one said something really dumb or funny or insightful, and you want to save that. I use them all the time. What about you, Kim?
Well, I'm notorious with my passwords. What I mean by that is that I thank God for John. Okay, I'm just because I've got. I think I had last time he told me that he said you have like 2,092 passwords. Well, not that many, but I've got a lot of passwords.
Yeah,
and so every once in a while I'll change a password, which means like John can't get on. Or you can't get on because I changed the Twitter account or whatever it may be.
Right.
And so what I do is I go into Safari, and I know this is like really bad security, but I open Safari and then I go into passwords and then I put my little mouse over the username and password and then I screenshot that and then I text that to John.
I do that too.
Yeah. So this way you're not sitting there going, exclamation point 725
yes,
lowercase. Yeah. So yeah, I'm guilty of doing that. And so if you're listening, don't do that. Do not do that. That's just one of those things that, do as I say, not as I do.
And you probably saved it to your desktop. Delete those, right? Go through, get those off your desktop. Yes.
Exactly.
All
right. So what about our Mac?
Yeah, you're a Mac person. I have a MacBook too. This one, I don't mean to toot my own horn too much, but I think this is super, super smart. Perhaps you're the person, you're working on your laptop and you get distracted a lot. Maybe it's your text messages, maybe you are signed into your social media accounts, whatever it is. I think you should set up different user profiles on your MacBook. But here's the cool part. You can set these up so that they are connected to different fingerprints. So when you sign in, you know how you put your finger on that little, it takes your fingerprint and that's how it signs you into your computer. Well, why don't you do your personal account on, say, your pointer finger and then maybe your work account on your ring finger? And then when you scan that, it'll take you into a profile that is only for work or only for personal life.
Oh, that's smart, especially if you share.
Yes, totally. Yeah, people can use their different fingerprints. This is all in system preferences. You go into the Touch ID settings and you can set up different profiles and they can be whatever you want. So if you can't quit checking Instagram at work, make yourself a work profile, don't sign in, and hopefully that will be, enough of a deterrent for you.
Yeah. I wish I could do that. But
everything's woven together for you.
Yeah. It's just, because it's just one big mess. But it would be nice because I'll tell you what's annoying is this is just a pet peeve, and I don't really know how to handle it. Okay. So maybe you can help me out. Is that, I have everything on my MacBook. I mean, I'm talking about everything in my life is on my MacBook, which is, again, duplicated on my iMac on my desk. Mm-hmm. Okay. And when I say everything, I mean everything. Okay. Like all of my email, my chats with Ian, chats with you. I mean, everything's duplicated. But what's super annoying to me is, like, for example, Barry would come in and say, oh, my MacBook or my iMac is dead or whatever the reason is. And he just signs right in. And then there are all, like, my personal text messages.
Ooh.
And he's like, why are you talking about this? I'm thinking like, so I just yelled at him. Okay?
Dude.
I'm like, yeah, exactly. Dude, this is my space. You have your space. I mean, so.
I think this is less a tech issue and more a tech etiquette issue. I think, Barry, don't use someone else's computer. It's not yours.
Yeah. It's like using somebody else's toothbrush. Okay. We don't want to do that either. Okay. We just don't.
I have to share one more. This is my.
Yeah, we have one more. We have time for one more quick one.
All right. This is probably the most impressive. I guarantee you this is going to make you look super smart to your boss or your friends or whoever. When you're scrolling on a website and you see something you want to share, but it's like way at the bottom. And so you find yourself saying like, okay, look under here. You can share a link right to the specific point in a page that you want to. So in Chrome, you highlight the text and then right click, and one of the options says copy link to highlight. And then when you paste that URL to someone, it takes them right where you want to in the page. So cool, so handy. You'll use it all the time.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
You know what? That may be the best one, Ellie.
I think so,
too. That may be
too.
the best one.
I saved it for last.
All right. So here's the deal, folks. If you want great tips like this, you just have to sign up for our newsletters. That's just it. And then you'll get them every single day. Head over to komando.com/subscribe, komando.com/subscribe. Allie, thank you. Great job as always. And we'll see you in newsletter land later this afternoon because we got a lot to do. Don't we?
See you there. Yes, we do.
We got a lot of newsletters to write. So, hey, do us a favor. Just make sure that you sign up for the newsletters. This way we know that we're just not writing them for our parents and other people like that. So, again, komando.com/subscribe. All right. There are ways to see if your password's being sold on the dark web. Okay. First of all, password managers. Some of these have tools where you can check to see if the dark web does have any of your passwords. We have a list of them over on the website. Cyber News Checker, they have an extensive data leak checker. All you need is your email address to use it. We have a link to it again on the website. And also, Have I Been Pwned? 12 billion stolen records over there. So if you're wondering if your password's safe, it's probably not. But in case you want to check, just hit komando.com for this tip about 3 tricks to see if your passwords are being sold on the dark web. Hey, stay right where you are. We have more tips, tricks, and calls you don't want to miss here on the Kim Komando Show. All right, back to the phones we go with John in beautiful San Antonio, Texas.
Hey, Kim. I just want to let you know that you were complimented by my youngest son. I have 2 adopted sons. They're now 10 and 12. About a year ago, we were coming home from church and we were listening to your show. And my youngest son said that your jokes are better than mine.
Oh, well, I'm not sure if that's a huge compliment, John, but that's okay.
So I wasn't sure if I was going to ground him for the net until he turned 18 or what I was going to do, but that's what he said.
That's awesome.
My question, Kim, is that I'm a twin. I have a brother that passed away when he was 14 and I was 12. And no, thank you. I have a lot of videos that my mom took of us, and throughout the years, my mom used to always take a picture of my twin brother and I on our birthday. Mm-hmm. So we have them all up until we graduated high school. And then as I mentioned earlier, I adopted 2 sons. They're currently 12 and 10. And I have videos of them since we got them and as they were growing up. But the videos that I have of my older brother and myself and my twin brother, of course, they were back from the 70s and 80s and the 90s. And I'm trying to find a video enhancer to get better quality out of the videos, make them do better colorization on them and all that. So that's what I'm trying to preserve them so I could give them to my sons.
Yeah, which is nice, right? I mean, and it's, at the end of the day, you can have everything that you want, but it's family that means the most thing. It is.
Yes.
And it's nice to tell those stories, and when there's a video, it's easier to tell that story. A couple of ways to do it, John, is that, of course, you can send them away to Legacy Box or iMemories, and they'll try to improve them, and then they'll actually digitize them, and then you can just get those files off the cloud. And then you also have access to it in the app, and then you can upload them to YouTube, and that's probably the easiest way. But I'll tell you, it's a really expensive way too. It's an expensive proposition.
I'll turn 51 on Friday I'll turn 51 on Friday, but I've since then have been retired for about a year, so I'm trying to do something that I can do to occupy my time. That's what I'm trying to get at.
All right. Well, that's awesome. That's awesome. Okay. So we've got some links to some products that will help you convert the videos and then get them into your computer. And then once they're in the computer, that's when you can start using things like Adobe Premiere that will reduce the noise and the grain and sharpen that footage. They've got a lot of tools and effects to do this. It has a steep learning curve. I will tell you that, John. But if you are on YouTube and just type in Adobe Premiere, improve video, somebody did a video that will show you how to do this. And that's one of the greatest things I think about YouTube is it has become this whole how-to wonderful place to do that. It's not very expensive. There's also another program called Cyberlink Power Director. It also has the tools to sharpen the footage, reduce the grain, improve the focus, and it's a lot easier to use. So those are two. Now, if you're like, you know what, I got a lot of time, and I don't mind doing it, I don't mind learning, but this one's free, there's something called DaVinci Resolve, and we'll send you links to all of these. And this has it's free. It has a pay version, but it has a free version, and it does color correction, visual effects, as well as enhance the videos too. So either one of those. Now, once you get these videos the way that you want them, that's when you can upload them to YouTube, and then you can set these channels as private, so that unless somebody actually has the address, they're not going to be able to look at your family videos, which is the way that I've got them all saved as well. So, we'll send you some links on how to convert the videos, because you need some tools depending upon what you have there at the house. And then some links to these programs so that this way we can make those videos look as great as possible. Now, about the photos, Google has something called PhotoScan. And with PhotoScan, you put that on your iPhone or your Android device, and then you take pictures of pictures. And then I'll tell you, if you just have photos that you're trying to bring into the digital age, this is like the program for you, because it will take those photos and then really make them look snazzy. And best of all, you don't have to take the pictures out of the photo albums in order for you to take those pictures. So again, that's Google PhotoScan. John, hang on the line. We're going to send you some links. And for everybody else, if you need some help, just search the website, komando.com, for converting videos. So you've come across a website that offers a promise of this great, wonderful, low-cost trip to Hawaii. Aloha! All they need is your personal info and a credit card. Well, it just might be too good to be true, right? And then you're going to get screwed over because it's a scam. So here's what you can do. Use a Whois lookup search to find out who owns the website and see if they have a real business address and any contact information. So what is a Whois lookup search? Whois is a database that contains information about domain names and their registrants and who owns them. So if you want to find out who owns a website, just use a Whois lookup to get the scoop. And it's really simple. Just head over to a Whois lookup website. There are just tons of them on the web. I use who.is. Once again, that's who.is. You just plug in the site's URL right into the search bar, and then in just a second, you're going to see who owns the site, and then the contact information, including the address and the phone number. Once again, that's who.is, who.is. That's the site that I use. Hey, be sure that you tell 3 friends about the Kim Komando Show and the Kim Komando Today podcast, because knowledge is power.